everyone. Welcome back to the channel. For those who don't know, my name is Crystal Antoinette, and on this channel we talk about faith, healing, obedience, and becoming the woman that God has called you to be. Who is ready for May? We are already in full swing, and God is just really building on this faith thing, right? Not faith for the new stuff, but faith for the things that we have been waiting a long time for, right? The job for some people, man, I've been watching threads for those who are on that app. Some people have been out of jobs 6 to 9 months. Some people were just laid off with all that's going on, with the airlines, but then there's some who are waiting on children and on marriage and just all the things, right? And so God is really wanting us to understand what it takes for long faith, that He has not forgotten about us, and that His desire, His will for our lives is true, even if what we see right now doesn't make sense. And so this month, this first week, we are going to talk about what happens when we go through the process, right? So last month we talked about being honest with God first about where we are and our frustration and the fact that it hasn't happened. We're like, what is going on, Lord? Why me? What's wrong with me? Like all the things. I'm disappointed in all the things, right? And after we lament, after we share with the Lord, the things that are in our hearts, what we found through the story of Abram, not quite yet Abraham, was that once we pour out and we're honest and we give Him space to speak back, He does. And so whatever is God's will, whatever is His desire for our lives, He will confirm. When we abide in Him and we have active conversations with Him about what's going on, He does confirm His will and design for our lives. And then once He does that, we have to make a decision, not based on manifestation, not necessarily based on confirmations or these, wild symbols or, all the things that He can do, but just on what He said to believe. So remember, Abram believed the Lord when He said He would give him a son, even though he was already old. He said He would give him a son and that He would make his descendants as numerable as the sand and the stars in the sky, right? And it says that Abram believed Him and it was counted unto him as righteousness. So last month was all about kind of reconciliation, doing the wrestle of faith with God, being honest about how our hearts have been sick due to long waits for promises we so dearly want, promises or just God's will for our lives that we want so bad, no matter what that thing is. Well, now God's like, okay, you've spent the time, right? Like we've had the wrestle, we've had the conversation. I've confirmed to many of you guys what my desire is for you, but there's a real side that comes with that, right? So just as much as the Lord is going to come and confirm His word and let you know that you're on the right path, the enemy is still there, right? Like until Jesus comes back and we go through the journey of revelations, we will always have to contend with the enemy. And so I just want to remind us that as we are rebuilding our faith, the enemy will come and try to attack it, right? The best way to attack a person or a city is not when they're fortified. It's not when they're at the peak of strength, right? It's in the rebuilding. It's when they've already been broken down to make sure that they don't get back to that place of strength, back to that place of being resolute, right? About what they believe, what they're going to do. Like that is what He does. And so He does the same when it comes to faith, even if we can't see the promise yet or the manifestation. Remember John 10:10 says, the thief does not come except to steal and to kill and to destroy. And so even as it pertains to our faith, like we're in a place as we wrestle with God, as we have the conversations, our faith is starting to rebuild again. Like, okay, God, I hear your words. I believe you. Okay, new revelation, right? Okay. New instruction. Okay. Well, guess what? there's another voice that begins to talk to us and begins to try to shift our perspective again, from God, from the one who can, from the one who is, to the reality of our current situation. And that's where we have to contend for our faith and believe what God said. So remember last month, God wanted us to remember to not add, right? Like sometimes he only gives us a little bit. He doesn't give us the full details of his desire for our life, what we're supposed to do in the season. He gives us just enough to trust and to go forward, right? And so God was getting on us last month about not adding to it because we want more logistics, not fantasizing because it creates unmet expectations, because the fantasy portion is not God's will. It's our self-imposed will, right? Through imagery, through desire. But God wants us to know this month that whatever he's already said to you, there's enough information there to hold on to in spite of what we see. And we're going to go back to Abraham to see, like, what does that really look like for real? And I pray that it encourages you. So we're not going back to in time, if you will, to the beginning of the story like we were last month. Now we're at the point where both Ishmael is already born. He's 14 years old, and Isaac is about to be born, and then further in this session we will see him actually born. So we're going to start at Genesis 17:15 through 22. What does that say? Then God said to Abraham, because his name has changed, "As for Sarai, your wife, you shall not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name. And I will bless her and also give you a son by her. Then I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of peoples shall be from her." Then Abraham fell on his face and laughed and said in his heart, "Shall a child be born to a man who is 100 years old?" Y'all, he was 100 now. "And shall Sarah, who is 90 years old, bear a child?" And Abraham said to God, "Oh, that Ishmael might live before you," right? Because he's now 14 years old. Then God said, No, Sarah, your wife, shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his descendants after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard you." So that's good, right? "Behold, I have blessed him and will make him fruitful and will multiply him exceedingly. He shall beget 12 princes, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah shall bear to you at this set time next year." Then he finished talking with him, and God went up from Abraham. This is good to me. First, when I read this, I was like, all right, God. And then when he started, when I tell you, it was good to me. So we have two separate situations going on. The first one is, you guys remember Ishmael. Ishmael came about because God had promised Abram and Sarai a child, a son, an heir, right? Chapters ago, but they were like, we old. What you talking about? We old. So Sarai came up with the brilliant idea to have her slave, Hagar, basically sleep with her husband and bear a son. And it happened. His name is Ishmael. However, what happens in that? We got some jealousy going on. Now it's not respectful between the women. It's like biblical love and hip hop happening right now. And so God gave Abram 14 years just with Ishmael, who is really his firstborn son, right? 14 years together. After leaving his father's house, after leaving everything, it feels like the promise, even though it's not the promise, right? And so it comes to a point when Isaac is finally born, that now Ishmael is kind of given a little attitude, right? Rightfully so, like I'm the firstborn, but I'm being treated like I'm nothing, or that I'm the secondborn, or that I'm second rate. And so he got a little bit of an attitude. And when that happened, Sarah, for the second time, told Abraham to get rid of them. So the first time she put her hands on Hagar, and Hagar ran into the wilderness. This time she told him flat out, like, they need to leave, they gotta go. And we pick up where God is telling Abram to let him go. He literally tells him to let them go. And so for that, we pick up in Genesis 22. No, I'm sorry. Let's go back to Genesis 21. So in Genesis 21, verse 9 through 12, it says, "And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, whom she had borne to Abraham, scoffing." So he was like, whatever. "Then she said to Abraham, cast this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, namely with Isaac." And the matter was very displeasing in Abraham's sight because of his son. He loved this boy. But God said to Abraham, "Do not let it be displeasing in your sight because of the lad or because of your bondwoman. Whatever Sarah has said to you, listen to her voice. For in Isaac your seed shall be called. Yet I will also make a nation of the son of the bondwoman, because he is your seed." So again, knowing that Jesus at this point is already born, we got David, we have been down the gambit, we have the fullness of the Bible. But imagine being Abraham, where you're in a space like, first of all, I was able to have a son, okay? Finally, in this old age, I was able to have a son, which would have been in his 80s. He fathered a son in his 80s. His firstborn son, he finally has an heir. God tells him, this is not your heir, but I'm going to bless him. And then at 100, you finally have a second one, but you have attachment. You have relationship. You've watched him grow up. Like, this is your boy, right? And even in that time, when it came to the laws of the land, when there was a surrogate situation like that, you didn't put them out. So even her request to put them out was not, from a cultural standpoint, acceptable. So you're asking me to send my son and his mother into the wilderness to go where? Like, I don't know. I don't even know if they're going to survive. I don't know where they're going to go. Like, I don't have like provision for them. You're just asking me to cast them out because he won't be heirs with your son. But they're both my son. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? And then for God to not challenge what she said, but to agree. So in that moment, that's a very real moment where all he gives them is a loaf of bread, basically, and a skin of water between the two of them. And they have to start walking. They didn't get a caravan. They didn't get a horse. They didn't get, a cart full of provision. They got one loaf of bread and one skin of water between a growing teenage boy. For those who have brothers or children, man, they can eat a house. Growing teenage boy and an adult woman. What would you have thought in that situation? How many of us would have been like, Lord, you are a liar. You are like, what are you doing? You like, this is cruel and unusual punishment. I didn't even ask for this, son. Like, the same wife who's kicking them out, the same wife who came up with this plan and put it to execution, is the same one who's making me send my own bloodline, my heir, my son, into a wilderness and I don't have the control to make sure that they're okay. There's no cell phones. I can't track their location. You know what I mean? I can't send them an Amazon. Like, that was real. Like, all I have is this little bit to give them, and I have to let them go. And why is this important? Because the reality is, where the enemy will want him to come in and despair and fall apart, go into depression, argue with his wife, maybe even despise his second son, right? Because of the treatment of his first son. The reality of what God said still was standing. It was in the promise. He just had to pay attention to it. What was the promise again? The promise again was that he would be okay. So the promise again was Genesis 17:20. And as for Ishmael, I have heard you. So the Lord knew what was in Abraham's heart. He knew he loved him. He knew he wanted what was best for him. Behold, I have blessed him and will make him fruitful and will multiply him exceedingly. He shall beget 12 princes, and I will make him a great nation. Why does this matter? Because at the point that he has to send them into the wilderness, remember Ishmael's 14, he's not married. He doesn't have a fiance. There's no perspectives here or prospects here for him to marry. So even though it is an uncomfortable, sad, probably depressing, anxious situation, what God told him was enough to stand. And what was that? That Ishmael was going to live long enough to, at minimum, have 12 sons. He was going to live long enough to have 12 sons. And so sometimes when God promises a thing, when God confirms his will in our lives, we don't get to sit there and see the whole process. Sometimes there is separation. Sometimes there is separation, not necessarily because you're in sin. Sometimes that does happen, right? We compromise to receive something, it happened the wrong way, and God's got to remove us from the situation to bring back holy, pure, righteous alignment, right? But sometimes for seasons, we just have to move on. We have to move apart. They're friends that we become distant from, not because they're bad or we're good or vice versa, but because for a season, we have to move apart. You may sow seeds, right? You may give here, give there, feed the homeless, all the things that the Bible says to do. But that doesn't mean that God allows you to see where your seed went and where it's coming back around, right? There may be a season where you sowed heavy, but you didn't reap in the same season. You may be putting out all of these applications and networking and doing all the things, but God doesn't give you the behind the scenes through either a mentor or the networking who's calling you and saying, hey, I just gave your application. Hey, they just looked it over. Hey, this is what they thought about you. Hey, this is when you're going to have your first interview. We don't all get that. Some things we have to, by faith, do the hard thing, endure the separation, knowing that what he's already told us is going to come to pass. And so while it was difficult, we don't ever want to undermine the difficulty sometimes of following God, because when we do that, we set people up for wrong expectations. What God asks us to surrender in is often difficult. They are the things that are in our hearts that we desire so much. But he told him, your son is blessed and he's going to be a great nation, and he's going to sire 12 sons. So while I have not chosen him, I'm giving him as close as possible the same blessing, the same covenant promise that I'm giving my chosen one, who is Isaac. 12 nations for 12 nations. Does that make sense? So again, although it was difficult, when we do what we learned last month, when we listen to the words that God says, when we sit and meditate and dwell and ask Holy Spirit, remind me of what God said. What did he say versus what did I say? And when the enemy wants to come with the negativity and make you look at the problem of your situation, we have to look back at what God said to find the clues, to find the breadcrumbs that we can hold on to, even when we're in a situation that we are not in control. So the Bible does not say that Abraham ever saw Ishmael again, but it does say, if you continue to read, that Hagar went and found an Egyptian wife for him again. And as we know what's going on in the world today, that promise was fulfilled. Ishmael did have the sons. They did grow into great nations, right? And that is part of why there is a battle in the Middle East now. So sometimes the promise comes with separation. Sometimes it comes in a space where we don't get to watch the process, but we have to believe in what God already told us, because he is faithful, not just because he can do a thing, but because he is faithful. Now let's go down to Isaac, right? So this is a little different, right? So we compromised with the first one. God was gracious. He was merciful. And he didn't kill him like David's firstborn with Bathsheba. He let this child live. He blessed him, and he had a pretty great promise for him. But now we have the promised one. We have the chosen one, right? That from start to finish, this is God's will. This is God's plan for my life. He said it. He has confirmed it multiple times. Ain't no hanky-panky, no compromise with this one. Like this is the real deal, right? So after I've had to give up my first son, we finally have the second one, right? At 100 years old, God then comes back and asks Abraham for that son. I don't know what I would have done. I would have felt like somebody is like, this is a cruel joke. Somebody is pranking me. Where is the camera? Because of what? So we see in chapter 22, verse 2, that God comes to test Abraham with his son. So he says in verse 2, then he said, take now your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains of which I shall tell you. And the very next thing that happens, we see a pattern with Abram. Verse 3, so Abraham rose early in the morning and saddled his donkey and took 2 of his young men with him and Isaac his son, and he split the wood for the burnt offering and arose and went to the place of which God had told him. So very much like in the beginning when he left his father's house, every time we see Abraham, he's like, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. He's taking him at his word. We don't see him asking no extra questions. We don't see him saying, why, Lord? Like, what? I would have wanted to flip a table. Do what? Like, I just sent my oldest son into the wilderness with his mother with 1 loaf of bread and 1 skin of water. And I don't even know if they're okay. The only thing that is holding me together is what you said about him, which was that you would make him a great nation and that he would have 12 sons. And while I'm holding on to that, the reality that I don't know if he is okay is real. So I have metaphorically lost a son at this point. He's lost, if you will, in the world. Like, we don't have relationship anymore. He has no claim as heir. I have lost a son. And now I am not only grieving that, but now I am in a place where you're testing me with the one you said is my heir. Baby, what? Huh? You want me to do what? That job you just blessed me with after I was honest and I did the best that I could do with the last boss who hated my guts and the persecution. You want me to let go of what? Lord, I just finally got this savings. You told me to be a better financial steward. You want me to put it where? To give it to who? Lord, I left that relationship that you told me. I know I was compromising. I left it. Now you want me to wait? How long I got to? I gotta wait. Why I gotta wait? I did what you asked me to do. Now you're asking me to put the very thing that I desired the most on an altar. And the prospect of it dying after the things I already had, the things that I had already built, right? The lifestyle I had already built, the friendships that I have already built, the relationships romantically that I had already bonded with. I've put all of this on the altar. I killed it. I separated from it. I did what you asked me to do, even though it was painful. Right? Yes, your grace was there, but it was painful. And now the thing that you have promised multiple times at this point, that now you're asking me to put it on the altar. Now you're asking me to give it back to you. What am I supposed to do with that? I don't have no other son. He had no other son. It doesn't say she had 5 more kids. He only, and God knew it, he said, only son Isaac, whom you love. You already know how I feel about him. Even the more so now that I've lost Ishmael, you already know how I feel about him. And you're telling me to go take him up and to prepare him as a burnt offering. That is real. That sometimes the things that God is promising, his will for our lives, like what happens when he tells us to give it back to him? To leave the job, to separate from that mentor, to give up that house and go somewhere brand new. What? To sow a sacrificial seed to your church. Let's talk about it for real. You know, save $5,000 for the first time and he tells you to give it away. What? You want me to start over with no emergency plan? But you said I was going to be wealthy. You said that you would, what? It's a recession. What are we talking about here? Yeah, God will do it. But what we see is the same, like Abraham's character was impeccable. And this is where we have to reside. So we already read that he literally got up in the morning. He got his son. He got 2 young men. He split the wood and he went on his journey. But what we see is his language shows us that he believed in the words that the Lord had already said to him. So in the same chapter, Genesis 22, if we go down to verse 5, it says, and Abraham said to his young men, stay here with the donkey. The lad and I will go yonder and worship, and we will come back to you. Now God told him to put him as a burnt offering. How you saying we? Then as we go on in verse 7 and 8, Isaac is like, we got all the stuff for a sacrifice. What's being sacrificed? Where's the sacrifice? So it literally says, but Isaac spoke to Abraham, his father, and said, my father. And he said, here I am, my son. Then he said, look at the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? And Abraham said, my son, God will provide for himself the lamb for a burnt offering. So the 2 of them went together. Why is this important? With the magnitude of the loss and the trial of faith that Abraham has already experienced with Ishmael. Now God is like, all right, like, yeah, I said I was going to give this to you, but like now put it on the altar. Give it back to me. Like, is this an idol? We talked about that. Is this an idol, or do we have a healthy attachment to? Am I still Lord when you receive the thing, or am I only Lord while you're waiting for the thing? Am I only Lord when something goes wrong? Or when you receive the fullness of what I told you, am I still Lord? Will you still listen to me? Will you still abide in me? Will you still seek my face? Will you still listen and hearken to my voice? Or was it just until you receive from my hand? Like, let's be honest and talk about it, right? And so what we see is, while this, I cannot imagine what Abraham was going through mentally and emotionally, but he was holding on to the word, literally, of God. And what had God already told him about Isaac? God had already told him that Isaac was the chosen one, that he was going to bless him, and that he would make him a great nation, that Sarah would be the mother of nations, kings of nations, right? All of this verbiage that he said that he would do. So again, while we don't know when Isaac's going to have children, we don't know what his life is going to look like. We don't even know before we even get that far down the line, we don't even know where the burnt offering is coming from. But in order for you to establish a covenant with this boy and to make him a great nation, for him to have offspring, he can't die. Like, this is where, like, the abiding matters. Because the magnitude of what you're feeling emotionally, the stress, the anxiety, which is real and reasonable of the situation, the enemy will seek to throw it in your face to get you to look at the mountain, to get you to look at the issues, to get you to look at, or to make you feel like God is a liar or that he's taking something from you. But the reality of what God told him was that Isaac was going to be a great nation, that he was covenanting with him. Why would I covenant with somebody I'm about to kill and bring back to me? That doesn't make sense. How can he be a great nation if before he's 5 years old, he's going to die? Before he's 15, before he's an adult, before he can go and even look at a woman, he's going to die. That doesn't make sense. So even though, again, that control piece, even though I don't know how he's going to do it, I know that he's going to do it, because if his word cannot return unto him void, if he's not a man that he should lie, nor the son of man that he should repent, that means that whatever he has said to me in the fullness of what he said and not what I added to it, it's got to happen. And so at this point, he has said to Abram, both evolutions of the same man, at least 4 to 5 times. You're going to have a son. I'm going to covenant with him. I'm going to bless him. He will be a great nation. He has said that multiple times. So I don't know what's going to happen when we get up this mountain. But I trust in who God is enough to go up the mountain with my son, knowing that this is a promise that he's already given and he can't lie about it. And so we have to have the same resoluteness regardless of which way it is, whether it is something that we wanted God to breathe on or to have grace for, but might not have been, we might have compromised, or it just might not have been his perfect will, right? Like, sometimes we go for the permissible and not the perfect will. We have to trust God enough to say that if he says separate, if he says turn a blind eye to it, whatever that thing is, to know that even though we're not in control, he still is. And we have to hold on to what he said. And even when the promise comes, to first understand soberly that God is going to test if he's really Lord. Am I Lord when you're on the mountaintop and things are going well? Or am I only Lord when you're in the valley? Am I only Lord when you need something from me? Or am I also Lord when you receive the manifestation of that thing that your heart desired? And when I ask you to do something, when I ask you to sacrifice, when I ask you to hand it to me, what will you believe? Will you believe the report that I've given you because I've already confirmed my word to you? Or will you allow the enemy to turn your attention to the conditions of the situation, to what you can see versus the faith in the one who's over all the things, even the pieces you cannot see? That's where we have to land. So where do you need to go back? Sometimes we summarize the things that God has said to us. Oh, okay, he said he was going to take care of this tuition. But what did he say for real? Like, that's the summary. What did he say? Is there something in what he said to you that you need to do? What are the specifics that help you to believe? so that when it seems like you're registering for that next semester and you don't have the money and it doesn't look like there's any scholarship, you can hold on in faith because he's already told you that he's going to make it happen. For those of us who are waiting for marriage, what has God said to you? If he's confirmed that it's his desire for you, what did he say? I can bet your bottom dollar he probably did not give you a timeline because he does not do that to us. But there are some things that he's probably said that we can hold on to. Okay, so what I do know is this. What I do know is this. God is asking me to work on this. This is going to matter. So hold on to that part, right? We have to hold on to that part. For those who God called you out of a job, not that you were let go, but you had to walk away. There is something in what he told you in your instructions, in the promise, that you are overlooking, or that you summarize to the point where you're not looking at the specifics, but it was enough of a breadcrumb to let you know that he is still going to deliver. So it may not be that he didn't say that your bills weren't going to be behind, but maybe for the job he did to give you a timeline. I have a couple of friends where he gave them timelines. Hey, you're not going to have a job for 3 months. You're not going to have a job for 7 months. And it's not going to come by you applying. It's not going to come by you networking. He was very specific in those things. So even though the wait got uncomfortable, even though the bills might have stacked up, I've already given you the set time, which goes into next week. So we're not going to get too far into, but there's a set time. There is a set time. Women of God, there is a set time, even for our suffering as we wait. There is a set time. But in order to continue to run that race, we have to know what we're working with. We have to know that God is not cruel. He's loving, and that he's going to give us enough information to not take control, but to hold on to the fact that he is not a man that he would lie. He does not repent, and that he's faithful. He holds his word above his name. That's what it says. And so while we have to be careful to not add to, we need to be equally careful and joyfully expectant in what he has said, because that's the part that the enemy cannot take away. It doesn't matter what this looks like right now. The Lord said this to me. It doesn't matter that I'm struggling right now. This is what the Lord said. It doesn't matter that I don't have this. This is what the Lord said. It doesn't matter that I'm waiting, because this is what the Lord said. This is what he said. And so this can't die because he said it would live. This can't die because there's more coming behind it. Even though right now I may not have what I need for all of my bills, God said to me that I would have more than enough, that he's called me, some of you, he's called you to be wealthy. So what does that mean? That regardless of your current circumstance, that this is not your end. It is your throughway to the promise. And as we will talk about next week, and at the set time, as long as we remain obedient, as long as we remain in faith in his character, we will receive the promise. So I hope this was encouraging. Please, I'm telling you, I did this a couple weeks ago. I challenged my friends to go back and look. And when we went back and we looked, we found details that were necessary for the season to keep believing. So go back to those journals, go back to the voice notes, go back to the notes app in your phone, to the things that God said, that he confirmed in his word, and read the details. And when the enemy wants to throw in your face the very real condition of what's happening right now, remind yourself and tell him to shut up, because you have a word from the Lord. So I hope this was encouraging to you. Drop in the chat what you're believing for. Or if you went back and you found information, share that and encourage your fellow sister where she might be on the fence like, oh, I don't need to do that. No, like, go back. God's not a liar. And seeing the testimony of your sisters may also help to boost your faith. For those who did not join us last month, we had a powerful prayer time. So don't forget, the link is in the description to sign up so that you get the Zoom link for the prayer call that will happen the 4th Tuesday of this month. We hope that you join us. And even for those who weren't there, we were praying for you too, because we are in this together. So until next week, see you later.